Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of Grassroots Racing Show.
Hi, I'm Doug Thompson. You're watching the Grassroots Racing Show. This is my co-host, Roger Thompson. Roger, we're deep into March. We've had Mike Kraft in Florida, concentrating primarily on the racing from East Bay Raceway, so that the Grassroots Racing Show can bring racing action, since there's none around our area because of the weather, bringing racing action from Florida, and that's where most of the racing action is going on right now. And East Bay Raceway has been great to us because we got Mike and the crew credentials to go there, and most of the races that the racers have been, or the fans have been watching the past few weeks, are all pay-per-view events, but we made the special arrangements so that the Grassroots Racing Show right here in Kansas can show those races, and you're not paying for them other than what your cable provider is charging you, which is a pretty nominal amount compared to the pay-per-view expenses for these races.
True. We just had that terrible blizzard the other day, you know. Is it true that Mike said he's not coming back to Kansas ever?
He did say that. He said, how long's a credit card good for? And I said, you're just about tapped out, buddy. So he may come back a little sooner than he thought.
Well, I think you told him we'd have a barbecue for him or something, didn't you?
Well, I was just kidding, just to get him back.
Oh, just to get him back,
credit card
yeah.
back. I didn't really expect to feed him, too.
No, one wouldn't expect to do that.
We've got to have him out and have him on the show, because I always like his... he has a lot of behind-the-scenes stories that go with it, and he will for East Bay. He is so good at being able to get to the track, and I don't know how he does it. He identifies the people, does an interview with them, and lo and behold, they wind up having a fantastic night of racing. If they don't win, they're right in the mix somehow. Yep. I don't know how he gets it done.
I don't either, but I think we ought to do a couple 30-minute shows on him and let him talk about the things that didn't get on air.
Yeah, that'd be
because
good.
he's got stories about all kinds of the drivers and things that happened there, and what I like about the way Mike does it, he goes around and talks to the racetrack promoter and the people that work there and find out what it takes to get a race going, and a lot of people are really interested in that.
Yeah, and as always, we're filming this in the Sentinel Building studio at the Kansas Auto Racing Museum at Chapman. And if you haven't been here to the Auto Racing Museum, you're certainly welcome to be here. We are home to the first NASCAR trophy. We're home to the first NHRA trophy. Matter of fact, I did an interview that apparently got a lot of exposure. It was on Channel 12, and Channel 12 sent somebody out to film about the first NASCAR race, and I did a little segment that was on Channel 12 because Channel 12 was doing it to promote the start of the NASCAR season with Daytona coming up. And it was an interesting story on Jim Roper, who was from Halstead, Kansas, won the first NASCAR race. And that got a lot of airtime because I had a lot of people contact me back and say, I had no idea that the winner was from Halstead, Kansas. And they were very interested in that and the story behind the scenes that Jim Roper told me.
Jim Roper was a real racer. We have a midget in the museum back here in this corner from about 1944, right after the war. Those guys didn't have seats. They didn't have seat belts. It's the old knee action shocks they had on there. But what's more important, I guess, is that their body is exposed from about the waist up.
Yeah.
And Roper talked about racing at Hutchinson, the half mile at the fairgrounds, when it was had a board fence around there. I remember Hutchinson with the board fence because I raced around there when it was a board fence and guys would go through it. But with these midgets, it's a very dangerous situation because there's 2x6s and 4x4s and all kinds of splinters and everything. He said he was going into turn 1, and these midgets are open-wheeled type cars. Somebody knocked him through the board fence. He survived, and he said he drove along the backstretch until he got to where he thought turn 3 was and drove back through the fence. Now there's a guy that wanted to race real bad.
Yeah, I remember that story, and I do remember the board fence around the track. I don't remember if it was board fence when I started racing at Hutch, but I do remember the board fence from when we were little kids and went to the races, and we would watch, seemed like in those days we watched the IMCA with Ernie Durr and some of those people race there. I know we did that at Topeka too.
We did it at Topeka. I don't know about Hutchinson. I remember going to Hutchinson as a kid when they had the Nationals, but there was only one class, and they were jalopies. And there was about 100 of them, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
And you mentioned about Jim Roper. You know, when they raced, Jim wore a T-shirt. We've got some pictures of him here in the museum. Wore a T-shirt, an open-faced helmet, and that was
All they had for helmets was those little skull tops.
Yeah.
And we've got a picture of one guy back here in a midget. Actually, the midget was sponsored by a salvage yard in Abilene, and this guy's wearing what looks like a jockey uniform, and he seems to be about the size of a jockey. Amazing.
When they had accidents and flipped the midgets in those days, that was that term we use, slow walking, easy music.
Soft music.
Yep.
Slow walking and soft music.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't have a prayer.
No, a car will roll right over you, and if it did that multiple times, chances are you broke a back and were,
But we need to talk to current racers. They don't want to hear about that.
No, they don't want to hear it. So, fortunately, current racers, all the safety things are in place now, and the wives and husbands of the racers, they don't have to worry so much now because there's a lot of improvements. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that racing coming up at East Bay, because that's late model racing, and that's the top of the line of the guys that will be down there, because you've got Billy Moyer Jr., I think now, and you got Bloomquist and Don O'Neill. And so you're going to pick somebody?
Yes, I'll pick somebody when we return.
Okay, good deal. We'll be back.
Ken Tatro, and you're watching the Grassroots Racing Show on my favorite network.
Welcome back to the Grassroots Racing Show. I'm Doug Thompson with co-host Roger Thompson. Roger, we're getting ready to go here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to go catch up with Mike Kraft at East Bay Raceway, Tampa, Florida. And this is the Lucas late model race. And that starting field reads like a who's who with Bloomquist and Billy Moyer Jr., a lot of Earl Pearson Jr.,
and these are top cars.
And they are. Those are top
cars in the country.
That's a Lucas Oil Series, so it's a points race for them, and an important one.
And since it's the first race of the year, the cars and the equipment's going to be new and fresh, and the engines, and you're going to see some of the best racing down there for sure.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the crowd shots that Mike has sent back on the other races, well received. Bleachers are full, and they usually are at this time. When we went to Volusia County, I know you went there too some, you'd park 3/4 of a mile away and walk along the road just to get into the track, because it was standing room all the way around the track.
And you can imagine it's like cabin fever. Everybody's been in the first race. No one has seen a race for 3 or 4 months, and they get out there and the excitement and the smell of the alcohol and the smell of the alcohol in the cars. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's the rubber burning and all that. It's really quite an experience.
Oh yeah, and I know that Bob Bolus and Circle Track will of course be down there, because many of the racers are reading the articles from Circle Track, and they're one of our sponsors on the show, and that'll give them the opportunity to now see the same people they've been reading about, and a good way to match up the competition from other parts of the nation with those guys in Florida.
Okay, and now for our staff has researched the possible winners, and we're about to reveal who that possible winner is.
Jason McBride. You picked
great.
Jason McBride.
Very good.
We'll be back. Let's see how it goes.
It's Don O'Neill and Dennis Erb Jr. They've probably been the two best drivers this week. They're on the front row to decide the Dartwood International's points fund, and a check for $5,000 and a check for $10,000 of the winner of this race. Here we go, Chris.
Out comes the green in the finale here on East Bay, the 37th Annual Internationals. Don O'Neill. He won't get the jump on Dennis Erb Jr. He'll slide across the racetrack. Jimmy Owens going to go right to work in the 20. Can Jimmy Owens win both of them today? He will look to the inside of the 20 car. He may lead the opening lap. He will not. It'll be O'Neill in 71.
It's an Erb time battle right there. Dennis Carrier and Blankenship 2-2. Throughout the field, down the back straightaway. O'Neill will powder on the outside of Owens. Pearson on the bottom. And then it's Erb. He's up top, then Blankenship and Carrier. They're still 2 by 2 by 2 down the straightaway.
Don O'Neill and Jimmy Owens, a good battle for the race lead. Earl Pearson Jr. trying to come right to the front. He's sitting in a 4-spot working on the 20 and over. Eddie Carrier Jr. and John Blankenship, and now Doug Trout, a good 20-car battle. That's for a 5th spot right now as Don O'Neill continues to lead in 71.
Carrier now, pressure Trout almost got up against the wall. Blakey Weiss and then Francis. Francis won this race a year ago tonight down the back straightaway. As you have Francis, Moran, and Pearsall going at it. Now coming out at turn number 4, it is still the 71 and Don O'Neill showing the way.
O'Neill and Owens continue to be a good battle here with the front of the field. Dennis Erb Jr. reeling them back in. 4th continues to be Earl Pearson Jr. and now Doug Trout has gone to 5th. Trout going to go by the 23 of Blankenship and the 23 of Carrier. He's in the top 5 at 63.
It's all over this track from the top, middle, to the bottom, out into O'Neill. Down the back straightaway, the Masters Millhouse car. Dennis Herb Jr. and Earl Pearson Jr. The bottom of the body racing. Full boy Chevy Power into one.
Still O'Neal on the cushion. About a 4-car length advantage here. Good battle for second. Dennis Herb Jr. on the back bumper of Jimmy Owens now. Won't be long before Don O'Neal will be at the back of the field. And look at Doug Drown. Doug Drown has run down a 44 of Pearson. They will battle for fourth.
Drown second here last night. And I'll make the show this afternoon. How about Dennis Herb Jr. is going to second? Herb to second. Now Owens will battle back. Good side-by-side battle. Herb now and Owens. Whoa, Herb throws the slider off the board.
Dennis Herb Jr. wants that spot. Jimmy Owens going to try to take it right back. Owens will look to the inside. They'll reclaim the spot in turn number one. Herb going to try to pound the cushion. And the back straight away. They continue to run door to door. Not only about 8 car lengths in front of him. Doug Drown and Earl Pearson Jr. still side-by-side. That's for fourth.
That's a dandy right there. Those top 5. And it is Blankenship carrier Francis Pierce, Weiss, and Coffee down the back straightaway. Traffic for the first time in this race is 10 laps coming up in the books.
10 laps in, 50 to go. It's Don O'Neal, Jimmy Owens, Dennis Herb Jr., Earl Pearson Jr., and Doug Drown sitting in the top 5. Todd Frank will go a lap down. To your race leader, Don O'Neal, outside of the top 5. It'll be John Blankenship 6th, and a carrier Jr. 7th, Steve Francis 8th. Bobby Pierce 9th, and right now, Vic Coffee sitting in the top 10 in 32.
Straight away. It is still 71-20. First and second of the points last year. Owens O'Neal finished in second for the third time in his career. Meanwhile, Herb has backed up towards Pearson and Drown as Doug Drown has joined in right there. Good battle. Meanwhile, out of turn number 2. Traffic for your leader. Top 5 right there. 6th was Blankenship, 7th carrier, 8th is Francis, 9th Pierce, 5th is Vic Coffee.
And Jimmy Owens has caught your leader now. Don O'Neal in lap traffic. He'll go to work on Devin Moran and Chad Stapleton. Owens running right to the bottom of the racetrack. Keep your eye on the 20. That machine is glued to the bottom. He will work into turn 3. He may pull even. This time by, here comes Owen off turn 4 for the race lead.
It's right there in Carly line. 13 in the books, making 14 now. That's Pearson, Herb, and Drown. We're trying to follow. Now Doug Drown now has an outside of Earl Pearson down the back straightaway. Pearson behind Todd Frank. Meanwhile, for the lead, Owens back at the bottom. O'Neal out of 4. 15.
This is Scotty Anderson, and you're watching my favorite show, Grassroots Racing.
Tonight.
Jimmy Owens continuing to try to run down your race leader, Don O'Neal. O'Neal's still shoved away by a couple of car lengths, and it's a 20 of Owens, 28 of Herb, 44 of Pearson, and Doug Drown. Still rounding out your top 5 runners here. Don O'Neal has moved down the racetrack now, and he begins to drive away again in 71.
Earl Pearson Jr., unusual spot for him, running the top and the bottom. Usually catfishing on that bottom as O'Neal pulling away from Owens down the back straightaway. Into turn 3, Dennis Herb Jr. now trying to reel back in Owens in second as they come off in turn number 4. 17 in the books into that at Eastbay of 60 laps.
Continuing to work away from the field is Don O'Neal now. O'Neal with about 6 car lengths on Jimmy Owens. Dennis Herb Jr. another 4 car lengths back. Then it's Pearson and Drown. Eddie Carrier Jr. has now gone to 6th. Steve Francis going to work to the inside of Blankenship for 7th. 8th is, 9th is Pierce, and 10th is Coffee in 32.
Back straight away, the top 3 now. No lap cars between them. The 71 of O'Neal, the 20 of Owens, the 20 of Herb. Off at turn 4, the top 3-0 right here. In the 1. Earl Pearson Jr. leading for that first lead as well. It's a line of 22 and Tri-City Speedway Illinois. Trying to join the top 4 all together down the back straightaway. He's got Pat in front of him. 20 in the books this time, Chris.
Don O'Neal continues to lead Jimmy Owens and Dennis Herb Jr. Herb beginning to run back down Owens. He gets slipped backwards a bit. He is charging back towards the front here in the 28. 4th continues to be Pearson. 5th is still Doug Drown as they try to work through lap traffic. Your leader, Don O'Neal, is on the back bumper of Stormy Scott now. He'll try to put Stormy a lap down as they race into turn number 1. Continues to lead in the back straight away. The 20 of Owens right there with a 71 in his crosshairs. It'll continue to be, oh, look out, Jerry Lyerly spun right in front of your leader, O'Neal.
Wow.
O'Neal slapped the brakes. Jimmy Owens did not. Now they're going to run door to door. Here comes the 20. Jimmy Owens in the 20. Close the gap in a big way here. On Don O'Neal's 71 cars, O'Neal to get on the winders. Lyerly was crossed up, no damage, no contact. Now the back straight away, Don O'Neal still Working on the 2 of Stormy Scott. Now working at turn number 3 this time by. Here comes Owens again in 20.
24 in the books. As they work 25 out of turn 2 down the back straight away. Don O'Neill gets around Stormy Scott, put it in a racetrack in front of him. It's clear. Third remains her. Pearson all over him. Here comes Drown up top. Drown thinking there's enough moisture up top. Drown on the outside. Here comes Drown. Pearson shuts the door on the main straightaway.
A great 3-car battle now. After the third spot, Dennis Herb's got it. Pearson trying to work to the inside of Lyerly. Doug Drown going to go to the outside, and there goes Drown. Doug Drown will go by Earl Pearson Jr. He is now 4th in the 63 as he tries to come after Herb now for 3rd.
It's running good.
Yeah. Don O'Neill still showing away here in the 71. 20 of Jimmy Owens is right there in the middle of the back straightaway. Then it's Herb Drown and Earl Pearson Jr., your top 5.
And there's O'Neill and Owens. They'll follow each other in turns 1 and 2. Doug Drown in 63 now. He'll try to set his sights on the 20 and then it's Herb Jr. down the back straightaway. Doug Drown now reels in her. Doug Drown's got a good handling car tonight, just as he did last night. Came up just a little bit short, 28 laps in the record books, hit it out of 60. 10,000 on the line. An additional 5,000. It's going to go to either O'Neill and Herb for winning the Dartmouth International's points for the 6 nights of racing. As O'Neill will lead him by 3 car lengths off of 4 with 29 scored.
Coming to the halfway point next time by. Caution free thus far. Don O'Neill working to the inside of Eric Jacobson's 5. Gonna try to put him a lap down into turn number 3. O'Neill slowly, carefully through there. Halfway down your leader still, Don O'Neill in 71. Jimmy Owens a close second here in the 20. Right behind Owens, it'll still be Herb Drown and Earl Pearson Jr. Good 3-car battle for the 3rd spot on the back straightaway. Behind them, it's Steve Francis, 6th. 7th is Eddie Carrier Jr., 8th. Will be John Blankenship, 9th. Vic Coffey, and right now, 10th is Ricky Weiss in 7th. Dennis Herb Jr. getting through the lap traffic a little bit better. He will clear them. On the back straightaway, he'll go to work on Jacobson. He'll put him a lap down. And now he's got clear sailing to try to run down your race leaders. It'll continue to be Don O'Neill, Jimmy Owens, and it's Herb, Drown, Pearson, and Francis. Steve Francis making it a 4-car battle for that 3rd spot. As Francis and Jacobson come together. Todd Frank in the 21 car going to pull out onto the infield as well in the back chute.
Down in the books. Your race leader, Don O'Neill, dives into turn number 3. As he continues now, the tail end of the field, the last car of the lead lap is Billy Moyer Jr. Owens 2nd, 3rd is Herb, 4th is Drown, 5th is Pearson, 6th is Francis, 7th Carrier, 8th Lott runs Coffee as they come out of 2 down the back straightaway. Here comes Doug Drown. Doug Drown up top, got him for 3rd on Herb off of 4. He'll do the crossover down the main straightaway. Drown is right there with your 2nd or 3rd place guy, Dennis Herb Jr., 35 complete.
Steve Francis going to bring out a caution on first of the night. Flat tire on the Kentucky Colonel's 15 car. And a caution will fly. John Blankenship thought maybe he had a tire going down as well, and it appears he does. As Blankenship was backing up a bit prior to the caution. So the yellow is out. Francis will go in, get a tire change. Blankenship will do the same. We're going to lose Devin Moran. He's onto the infield as well in 99.
After the 35 lap of the daytime, the right rear was bald after just 35 laps. So we're right at that mark where you may see some tires. Dennis Herb blew a tire this afternoon as well, as we're going to double them up. Francis is back out, Blankenship back out. They are still on the lead lap. But they both are running in the top 10. They give those up. I'll tell you, Doug Drown, is there enough moisture up top? He's going to restart up in that top groove. So we'll see what happens. Herb down below. O'Neill has led from the start here tonight. 25 to go for $10,000 in the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Here we go.
Back to green and back to the lead. Goes Don O'Neill at 71. Herb will challenge for the 2nd spot off turn number 2. Keep your eye on this. Here comes Dennis Herb Jr. Vic Coffey now going to look to the inside of Eddie Carrier Jr. as well. There goes Drown. Doug Drown will go right back to the cushion here. Jimmy Owens will hang on to the 2nd spot. Herb is 3rd. Drown is 4th. Earl Pearson still 5 and 44.
Doug Drown. That top last night was good for him. Down the back straightaway, Herb will drift up the track. And now Doug Drown goes to the outside. Here comes Doug Drown. He works that hard right rear. He'll get around Urban, get around Owens. What a move. Drown goes in the second. 37 and off. Oh, we got a smoker on the front straightaway. Big problems. Francis is involved. Blankenship. 2 Lucas Oil regulars in trouble in turn 1.
Consecutive call.
In the books, Don O'Neill, but now we've got a new player up front. It's Ohio's Doug Drown. How will those right rears hold up with 23 to go, Chris?
Back to green we go. Don O'Neill will get the early jump. He will go right back to the race lead. Jimmy Owens will clear Doug Drown for the time being. Drown going to go right back to the cushion. Here comes Vic Coffey. Coffey in the 32 will work his way to the inside. Jared Landers as well. Landers going to look to the inside of Dennis Erb Jr. Doug Drown goes back to the outside and Jimmy Owens in the battle for second.
Coffey up to fourth. Coffey now up to the side of Erb. Drown down the back straightaway. Trails Owens. Here comes Coffey. Coffey in the hot. Drown nor Coffey have ever won here at East Bay, and they've never won a Lucas Oil race. But they're all over the 2-time and reigning champion. Down the front straightaway, Owens hanging on for dear life for that spot with 21 to go.
Boy, if Doug Drown can get a smooth lane off of 3 and 4, he will be a factor here. Just like this, he's going to bonsai it in. He'll hit the cushion. Here comes Drown. Right back after Jimmy Owens for second as O'Neill drives away.
And Urban, look at this. The blue number 5 in the hot, Jared Landers. Jared Landers has climbed to 6th into 5. Drown almost got on the wall. Coffey goes to 3rd. Coffey to 3rd. It's a Mastersville. Bloomquist, Rocket. The top 3 off of 4.
Still Don O'Neill running away here. We've got less than 20 to go. The driver in Martinsville, Indiana. That's a 20 of Jimmy Owens. 32 of Vic Coffey having a career best night here at East Bay. Doug Drown still sitting in the 4th spot in the 63. Dennis Erb Jr. is 5th. 6th will be Jared Landers. 7th is Eddie Carrier Jr. 8th is Ricky Weiss. 9th is Tyler Reddick and Scott Bloomquist into the top 10 in 0.
O'Neill on that bottom. Doug Drown trying to get the ball. Now Dennis Erb Jr. has problems, and he's got a flat tire. 44 laps will be scored, and Erb, the 2nd time today, he's got a flat tire. He blew one out this afternoon, and the tire down now with 43 complete.
Right rear.
Right rear tire down on 28. He will pit.
Wow.
43, we can't get 44 in. We'll try this time. O'Neill will lead him out of 4 with Coffey and Owens. Hot in pursuit. Here we go.
Vic Coffey again. Will take the 2nd spot from Jimmy Owens on the start. Owens going to try to roll around him on the outside. He's got a much better start this time, and here comes Owens. Jimmy Owens will go back into the 2nd spot. Scott Bloomquist out of 6th. Keep your eye on the 0 car. Earl Pearson trying to go around the outside as well. Keep your eye on him and Moyer Jr. coming to the front.
15 to go, coming up. Coffey and Owens run side by side. Landers this where Bloomquist up to 5th. Scott Bloomquist up to 5th in car 0.
Don O'Neill continues to lead. Jimmy Owens and Vic Coffey in great side-by-side battle for the runner-up spot. Here comes Coffey. Coffey again going to go to work to the inside. Bobby Pierce on a flat right rear on the 32, and he will slow, as does Jimmy Owens. Owens with a flat tire, and does Doug Drown.
Drown slows.
3 cars running in the top 10 with flat tires at the same time. Pierce, Drown, and Owens. Oh boy. Yikes.
And that's what's wearing the tires. Nothing on the racetrack, because sand will do that. But to say the least, it's been interesting. 45-15 to go in this one.
I think 6.
I think more have pitted than have not pitted. Here we go. Out of turn 4, 15 to go.
Start for Landers.
45 laps in, 15 to go. Jared Landers now going to try to roll Vic Coffey. Landers going to try to steal that 2nd spot. Billy Moyer Jr. trying to roll Bloomquist. He's got him. Down the back straightaway, Coffey able to hold strong in the 2nd spot. In a 32. Moyer Jr. and Bloomquist will run side by side. Will Landers get 2nd? He will off turn 4.
And Bloomquist threw an elbow and Moyer Jr. Pearson around him.
Pearson at the bottom. Pearson blows by Bloomquist down the back straightaway. How about EPJ pitted right there?
Brazil.
And Brazil has a tire down to the back straightaway. It's O'Neill, Landers, Coffey, Pearson, Bloomquist. To get a lap in, the caution is out. Caution is out.
We need to know if McBride pitted. That's the only one I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
We have 71.
Brazil right rear tire down. How about Earl Pearson Jr., ladies and gentlemen? Wow. Those guys that pitted, they're going to go for broke.
You bet.
Those guys up front, I don't know if they're going to be conservative. O'Neill conservative? No, not in his vocabulary. 13 to go. Here they come. Never heard of it. Here comes O'Neill. Back to the race leading to 71 to 5 of Landers. Earl Pearson Jr. now. Pearson going to go to the inside of Big Coffee. He'll take the third spot. Moyer Jr. going to try to come back. He'll go to the outside of Steve Francis. Over and door to door. Landers down to second and 5. Oh, Coffee and Pearson almost might have got together. Not sure Bloomquist there. Here comes Francis. Here comes Jr. Here comes Moran. Down the back straightaway. Working lap 49. 11 to go. O'Neill. And here comes Jared Landers. Coming to the 10 to go mark next time. Jimmy Owens trying to come through the field. In the 20 car, keep your eye on him. He's working on the 23 of John Blankenship just outside of the top 10. Your leader will continue to be Don O'Neill. Landers still sitting second. Vic Coffey now with a tire that has gone down. Coffey, one of the 6 cars that had not pitted. And Coffey now the next victim, and will have to pit for a flat tire in 32. Well, there was contact. He and Pearson got together, and Big Coffey got some damage to left rear quarter panel, so he'll go back to the pit area. 10 to go. Wow. Daniels, it doesn't matter. They're going to put on a show. O'Neill and Landers, Pearson. Can he come from the back to win? Bloomquist, Francis, can he come from the back? Who's going to be in the Lucas Oil victory lane in 10 laps? Don O'Neill's led it all the way so far. Here we go. Don O'Neill will go back to the race leader. Earl Pearson Jr. going to roll around the cushion. Here comes the Hurricane. Earl Pearson Jr. will roll. Jared Landers will go to second. Earl Pearson now going to try to challenge your race leader, Don O'Neill. We've got 9 to go here. Pearson not done yet. Here comes the 44. I'll tell you what, 44 and 15. Right rear tires are fresher than anybody else's in the top 5. Pearson for the lead on the outside. O'Neill now battles back. Here they are. They're wheel to wheel for the lead at East Bay with 8 left to go. Pearson takes the lead as the crowd stands. Earl Pearson Jr., your new race leader. Don O'Neill going to take it right back in the inside of the 71. It'll be O'Neill, your leader in the back straight away. Pearson trying to take it away. Bloomquist got into third here. He's gone by Landers. But Pearson Jr. will lead again in 44. Earl Pearson Jr. is 7 laps away from a victory here tonight. Don O'Neill going to settle into second. Scott Bloomquist now. He is up to 30s, rallying after the 71. This time on a 4 with 6 to go. July 2010. Earl Pearson Jr.'s last Lucas Oil win. Down the back straightaway. Right now pulling away. O'Neill second. Bloomquist third. Landers fourth. Francis fifth. Now O'Neill hanging on for a second on Bloomquist. 5 to go. 55 in, 5 to go. Earl Pearson Jr. down the back straightaway. He's got a 10 car length advantage and a 44. It'll be Pearson in 44. Then it's a 71 of O'Neill, a 0 to 5, and a 15 of Francis. Steve Francis sitting in the top 5. He's going to work on Jared Landers. We've got less than 5 to go. Coming to lap 57 in this time. Scott Bloomquist in the 0, working on Don O'Neill in 71. 3 laps to go. In tonight's 10,000 to win 60 lapper. Earl Pearson Jr. down the back straightaway in the 44. Bloomquist and O'Neill on a great side-by-side battle with a runner up front. Bloomquist, he will go by the second and 0. Can he hold it at the line with 2 to go? Scott Bloomquist has gone by the 71 of O'Neill the second. Down the back straightaway, Earl Pearson Jr. He will come to the white flag. 1 more lap to go for Pearson in 44. Final lap coming up. Down the back straightaway, race fans into turn 3. On to turn 4, your Saturday raced by Earl Pearson Jr. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The top 5 unofficially will be the 15 of Steve Francis, 5th. 4th will go to the 5 of Jared Landers. 3rd will go to your race long leader, Don O'Neill. 2nd will go to the 0 of Scott Bloomquist. And as the field rolls by, your feature winner has gone to the scale. Make sure everything is A-OK. Remember, he went to the pits in the middle of the race, came back out, restarted the tail, charged through, and won the $10,000 finale.
Earl Pearson Jr. wins the final 9 of the Darwin Nationals at East Bay Raceway. Come on, we gotta settle it. It's been a while.
Got the winner of the Lucas Oil late model race here at East Bay Raceway, Earl Pearson Jr. Earl, you had to go to the back to do this, man, but you certainly pulled it out.
Well, I mean, first of all, I got to thank Lucas Oil and all the guys. The sponsorship. They'd been with us for many, many years, and but yeah, I mean, we was maintaining their 5th and 6th, and we was on the same tires as everybody else. But when we had the flat tire, we had a long caution. I come in and I told the guys, the pit crew guys there, just to put hard tires on because I knew the track was drying out and get really black, and that's what we did. And I mean, it took me a little while to get through all the traffic there, and I tell you what, when I got to the front, I could just go wherever I needed to go. But the car's really good, even from the beginning. We were just kind of riding around. I knew that tires would be a big issue, and but when we come in, I had to go, and I run over a couple different people there. There's no doubt. But
I was gonna say a little roughhouse was going on there toward the last.
Yeah, I mean, but when you got harder tires, you can be way more aggressive. And I'm not a type driver that run over people, on purpose. So. But yeah, I mean, everybody involved. Bobby Labonte Racing. We got Kevin Rumley and his dad involved, and Steve Shaver's here as my crew chief, and I mean, the family's here, and it's just a good place to win for us because we usually struggle here at East Bay, and we should be sitting really good in the points right now, and usually we come out here 15th or 20th, and we should be definitely in the top 3, and that'd be really good for us later on.
I was going to say, from what I understand, one of the announcers was saying up there, it's been a few years since you got a win, having a little bit of trouble and struggling.
Well, we have, and in any sport there is, you don't have people that struggle, and that's what we went through it for 2 years, and but I think we got back on track. This car right here was just a couple pieces of tubing a month ago, and I mean, the guys at the shop worked their butts off, and I'm just glad I could win a race for them.
I was going to say, the way the technology is running in sports, and especially in racing, man, it's 6 months you're out of date, right?
Yeah. Well, it is, and that's what we got with Kevin. I mean, he's an engineer. He's on top of things. He's done it all of his life, and he can get on that computer and just do things I've never seen a computer do. And and that's where the sport's going that way, just like NASCAR. I mean, it's just going above people's heads, and that's where it's going here today. And I mean, you got to have a shop. I mean, what we're doing now is everything's in house. We're doing the chassis in house, the shocks in house, the motors in house, and that's what we wanted to do. And I mean, it took us 2 years to get there.
It sounds like he's trying to say he didn't play no part in it, but I know better. I watched that race because he brought that thing up from the back. Earl, great run, and congratulations on the win here at East Bay.
Well, I really want to thank, like I say, the sponsors are big for us, and Lucas Oil, and it was just everything lined up for me tonight for sure. There's no doubt. Having a flat tire early and having to come in and change tires, and we had a long caution. We was able to change 3 tires, and a couple people fell out through the race and helped me get up through there. But a lot of things lined up for sure, and to come home in victory lane here in Florida, that's big for us.
I'm shivering. I don't know about you. Thanks a lot, Earl. I appreciate the interview.
Thank you.
Got the second place finisher here tonight, Scott Bloomquist. Scott, boy, the week started off really good for you. You had a second, and then you won Tuesday, I believe it was. Did you kind of struggle a little bit during the middle of the week?
Not really. We this is a place when you're somewhere this many days. I'm known to want to test things and try different things, and you're always looking to get better, and that's price sometimes comes with getting worse. So, but overall, you know, we're happy with our week. You know, we made it through that last race there, one set of tires, and it means the car's pretty balanced, pretty happy, and didn't tear it up, and just move on to the next one. But yeah, you know, it was been a while since Earl won a race. You know, I congratulate him, and just we'll try not to let it happen again.
I was going to say, long race like that, 60 laps, I guess you were saving it in the early part, and then that last part just turned it loose, because it seemed like you were quite a bit quicker there at the end.
Yeah, we were. You know, you could sit there early in the race. A lot of times, you know, guys, when you got that many laps, guys will just race, you know, and they're dangerous even to be around. They're racing so hard, and you know they're not going to be there in 30, 40 more laps. Right. You know, so you just got to be patient, wait for them to just end their night for themselves, you know, and instead of ending up jumping in there and tearing your car up. And, you know, we got closer to the end, we got serious about it, and tried to make sure we had enough tires to finish the race. Still used them all up pretty good, but could have run maybe 8 or 10 more, you know, but that would have been about it. But you know, Earl coming in and getting tires was a good thing for him. I mean, that let him be able to punish his tires, and we still had to take care of ours.
I think one of our local boys is running one of your chassis down there in Springfield, Missouri. Terry Phillips had some success with it last year, and I understand this was the first night on this new car here.
Yeah, actually, the car that we ran all week is sitting over there under a car cover. This is the first night we've run this car this week. So, but both of them are very...
Welcome to the Grassroots Racing Show. I'm Roger Thompson with brother and co-host Doug Thompson. We just witnessed quite a race at East Bay with the Dirt Late models. And true to form, our staff has selected one of the top running cars, and not quite the winner. Our selection made 18th.
Yep. Roger picked Jason McBride to win the race, and with his blind selection, why, the good part is Jason made the feature, and he finished 18th, and Jason is from Carbondale, Illinois. I'm not familiar with him. Have you?
No, I'm not either, but I think the way this pay schedule goes is 18th pays more than first.
Yeah, because first place paid $10,000. Earl Pearson Jr. won the race. He was driving for Bobby Labonte,
yes,
NASCAR guy, and broke a big losing streak for Earl. I saw Earl run up at Belleville a few years back. Matter of fact, he won that night when we were at Belleville.
It's hard to believe that he had a flat tire on lap 37 and had to change it to right rear tire, and by lap 52 he was leading the race again. Now that's a racer's dream, is to have a car that is that much faster than everyone else.
Yeah, and you look and see who he passed near the end of that race to win it from. That was Scott Bloomquist.
Yeah, and there's no sleds in that race.
No, there were no sleds in there, and there was cars from all over the area, not only Florida. It looked like there was maybe, I don't know, 40 cars so in that were entered in the event, and 26 of them started the feature, and they were from, as I looked through the field,
one of them was from California, two of them from California.
Yeah. I don't know as I see anybody from Florida in the field.
Arizona, and
Jacksonville. Earl Pearson was from Jacksonville, Florida. Bloomquist is out of Mooresville, Indiana. Don O'Neill, he runs great. He's out of Indiana also.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these guys are going to be racing back in that truck series, what used to be the Craftsman Truck Series, but now it's the NASCAR Truck Series, and they're going to be racing at that track that Tony Stewart owns at Eldora. Yeah. And I know Bloomquist is going to be one of those that's going to be racing in there. I don't know if any of these others are.
Some of the NASCAR guys are going to be in that race.
Yeah.
They always go in there and support Stewart's track.
Yeah, they do. They run their dirt, that all-star race, and that's always good racing from there. But as always, kudos to Mike Kraft, because he did a excellent job getting the film footage for us from East Bay Raceway, and that's the Lucas Oil. $10,000 to win. Earl Pearson won it, and that was some fantastic racing. You got to watch it, and thank you so much for watching the Grassroots Racing Show. We're going to have a lot of racing action this year for you, so stay tuned, because not too long from now the weather will break and we'll be covering races across our state. Thanks for watching.